This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Right now on 1480 KRAE, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 KRAE. And good morning. Welcome to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti, and we have a very special guest joining us. Matter of fact, we get a chance now to do a dual type of a conversation with him, David Contreras, who's with the Cheyenne Parks and Recreation Division, again, who is pretty much managing that division right now. But also, and we've run into David on a few occasions. He has also, after his work with the city, kind of dons the pinstripes and gets a chance to be out on the football field and the basketball field. And that's where we first, matter of fact, and David even said that he used to do a little work around our building many, many years ago. But, David, let's talk first about the officiating situation. And I'll be real honest with you. He and I, and I'm sure a lot of people, have not been cool or, I don't want to say cruel, but we haven't been, the greatest representatives of saying how great the officiating is. But
felt the wrath this Friday night at Giant South without a doubt.
But let's talk about officiating in general. Why do you want to be an official?
Well, the main reason for me, and I think a lot of reason for a lot of the officials will also tell you, is just they wanted to stay involved with the game. They just want to be part of the game, and they just want to give something back to the community and back to the youth. We always say without us, it's hard for, sports to keep going on. And, it takes a rare breed for us to do it. Like you say, we get a lot of backlash and all that kind of stuff, but it's just the passion that we have. I was growing up playing sports all the time, and just, I knew the shortage was there and got into it and just fell in love with it. I just love doing the sports, officiating, just giving back to the kids is the way I look at it.
I threw a lot of names at you when we were getting ready to go on the air, and again, being around a long time, I've seen them come, I've seen them go, and whether they retire from it or not, or just walk away from it in general, that usually is what happens. How do we recruit folks like yourself to become officials? Are we still looking for officials and I'm assuming you're part of the Cheyenne Officials Association.
Yes, we're always looking for officials, every sport across the board. Not just here, it's across the nation. It's just one of those things where nobody just wants to do it, They go out there the first couple of games and get yelled at and say, this is just not for me. So we're always recruiting. We're always, hurting for officials. We're always looking for officials. We do everything that we can. We do officials training, all that kind of stuff, just to kind of get people involved and start them off, with the youth stuff so they can kind of see what it's like and build them up that way, until they're ready to go and get into those higher level games. So, yeah.
I guess for you, David, and again, we'll keep on the referee and then get in CheyenneRec, which, again, is the main reason we're here, and we'll talk about what's going on around town and just kind of get into the at least kind of dirt and gritty of that situation. But, again, refereeing where we talk, and we look to Friday night where, again, those fans, again, it was playoff atmosphere,
right.
But, again, there were a lot of boos. There were a lot of anger out there about some questionable calls. And, for you in that position, I mean, is it something that you tune it out? I mean, how do you ignore or not let that emotion from outside factors kind of alter your play, again, what you are trained to do of, again, officiating on that court?
And it comes with experience. A lot of us have been out there for years, so it is one of those things you just got to tune out. Just can't pay attention to it. The moment you start letting that get to you, it's when you kind of get things a little heated, and you start almost in a way of retaliating towards a coach or a player, and just you're done and you just had enough. So you just gotta let that thing go in one ear and out the other, and just act like it's not even there, and just focus on what you're there to do. Focus on what you've been trained on, all that kind of stuff, and just pay attention to the details is what we do.
One of the nice things being in our part of the world, as opposed to being in California or Colorado or whatever, they're not coming out of the stands and running after you. But do you feel that intensity a little bit more stepping out on the court, especially from fans? Again, whether they're moms or dads or former players,
Yeah.
whatever. But again, you just feel like they're way more involved
Oh,
than
yeah.
they used to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's it's one of those things that has gotten worse over the years that I've noticed with parents and fans and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of it has to do with when you're a parent, me being a parent as well, you kind of focus on just your kid in general and not in the location as us officials, we're trained to look at certain areas. And yeah, we do miss some things, and it's one of those things, it's human nature, but one of the things as us officials is it's just one of those things that we don't go to a player and say, hey, great layup that you just missed right there, but hey, we get the backlash. This is part of the deal that we deal with. And yeah, parents do get involved a little bit more, and sometimes you get a feeling like, okay, we need to get out of here as soon as this game's over and hit tail and get straight to the locker room so that we don't get somebody coming after us or anything like that. So yeah,
In the game of basketball, and again, we've talked about this, whether it is JUCO with LCCC, we've seen it with the high schools, and it's something that we've kind of gone back and forth about. But again, regarding officials, game has gotten faster, stronger, bigger.
Yes.
Again, plain and simple. Again, from the high schools on up. For officiating, is that also to a situation that the game has gotten faster? That is there a need for another official out there on that court? I mean, what's kind of your thoughts on at least kind of maintaining that pace of the game?
Yeah, it definitely has gotten faster. Kids are getting bigger. I mean, it's, you see them across the state, and it's like, wow, these kids are really big. What are they getting fed, kind of thing. But, as far as having another official, I don't think that's the situation. I think what it is a lot of us are, we're at the age to where we're just getting older. So it's harder for some of us to kind of keep up with these kids nowadays. And it goes back to where, trying to recruit the younger generation to come out there and do that. That's what we need more of, the guys with the younger legs that can keep up with the game speed and all that kind of stuff. And, it's just hard at times, especially, like this weekend when we have a tournament. A lot of us are out there doing about 9 games a weekend in 3 days. So come that last day, we're just dead dog tired and people are getting hurt and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard for us in our bodies to keep up with these young athletes nowadays. So, yeah.
Final thought on officiating, and we're going to get into our recreation division here of the city of Cheyenne. David, if anybody listening out there watching on our YouTube channel would like to become an official here, again, within our area, how do they go about it?
Yeah, just, reach out. You can all just search Cheyenne officials. There's different associations for different group. You got the Cheyenne Basketball Officials, the Southwest Officials Association. You got the Frontier Basketball Officials Association. And then you got our Cheyenne Football Association. There's an association for every sport, so you just got to kind of Google it, find the right person. I'm always a great contact source to reach out to if it's something that you want to get into, whatever sport it is, whether it's soccer, football, softball, basketball, whatever it is. I'll point you in the right direction. I usually got the connection to get you in the right right doorstep and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just kind of going online. Also, just searching the WHSAA website is the perfect place to go to too, and it'll point you in the right direction wherever you live at.
Well, David, let's talk about managing sports. And you have the unique opportunity with the city of Cheyenne to look over the sports programs.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we don't just talk football,
Right.
baseball, basketball. There's a lot of side sports that go
Yeah.
on as well. Tell me how many programs that you have to keep an eye on.
Oh, man. So there's probably about, I would say, 15 to 16 sports altogether between our youth and adult sports that we kind of run. There's 3 of us plus, well, I guess we would say 4 of us altogether that run all the sports. We each have certain sports that we each run individually, but we have many of other things that we offer, like a chair yoga, tai chi, karate, all that kind of stuff that we offer with the recreation division. So yeah, dog classes, horse classes, all that kind of stuff. So there's more out there than people know, but we do have our set basics kind of stuff with the basketball, football. We got lacrosse, t-ball, softball, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's something. If you're looking for something to do, we have something for you guys to do.
So wintertime, obviously, we got basketball going on for CheyenneRec. Anything else that's offered that we can do indoors right now?
Yeah, so we do have we got our volleyball coming up. We got our adult co-rec volleyball coming up. We also have our youth volleyball. It's a new program that we ran it in the fall, and we wanted to run another session because we thought it did really well. So we're in registrations for that one right now. Early registrations end this Thursday, and then we'll have 2 more weeks of late registrations, and then we'll get that going. But, indoor sports for us, it's a little harder for us to run at times, as, a lot of people here in Cheyenne know that we don't have a rec center. So we kind of rely on the schools and allowing us to use their gyms and all that kind of stuff so we can continue to run our programs.
You mentioned the rec center, which again we've been proponents for. We've had city council members in talking about, hey, they're for it, but obviously it comes with a cost. And again, we've had it voted down a couple times here in the city of Cheyenne. But from your aspect, where again we're dealing with facilities of, again, at least using the high schools or at least schools across town, which again, they're at least grateful that they are allowing that at least when they have that open time. But if we are to get a rec center here in Cheyenne, what does that mean for the rec department? How big would that be as an impact?
Oh, it'd be a huge impact for us. Right now it's just it's back and forth communications between the school districts. It could be hard at times, but they do the best that they can. Just having our own facility would put it eased the burden on us as far as being able to run more programs, continuously run the programs at a high level and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be a huge deal, if we had something like that in our community.
We're talking with David Contreras from the Recreation Division of the City of Cheyenne. David, let's talk a little bit about those that participate in programs. I even think back to when my kids were in the City of Cheyenne programs way back when. Make me feel real old right now. And again, I know we had to go to different schools for basketball or volleyball or even indoor soccer. But talk about costs now. And I think sometimes that shies some people away.
Right.
They're going, well, I don't really have $50. I don't have $100. But again, with that investment in their children having some recreation activity, also too, those costs have to splinter off into taking care of people like we were talking earlier, officials.
Yeah, exactly. It helps everybody across the board. It helps pay for our officials, helps pay for the rentals that we have to use when we go into the schools and all that kind of stuff. I would say we're probably one of the lowest in the community as far as sports goes. I would like to think. It could be a little bit pricey for some parents, and I completely understand it. And we do offer some financial assistance. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't know about that, so we do offer some financial assistance for those that are in need. You just give us a call or go down to our Kiwanis Community House, ask them about our financial assistance form, and we'll get that all filled out and taken care of. And for the most part, we usually don't turn anybody away. We want kids to be involved. We want them to be active and all that kind of stuff with our sports.
Getting into sports, and I'll move to the outdoor sports, and we had this discussion, and I've noticed since I have stepped away that the softball programs have kind of dropped as far as teams, divisions, that type of deal. But you look at things that the city used to put on or would coordinate with various local businesses to put on tournaments. As you step into this position right now, how do you woo, 18 and overs to, the adult softball leagues? How do you woo them to come back? Again, it's costly.
Yeah.
A lot of local sponsors are not, wanting to pony up to the bar. But how do you get these people excited about, hey, this is the direction we're taking the softball program in?
Yeah, all of our adult sports, we do the best that we can to get these people involved, stay active even after high school and all that stuff. We've noticed a drop off too. I don't know if it's just kids these days just don't want to play sports anymore. But we do everything that we can. We try to get on our social media pages, do some videos, do some funny videos, just show people that it's fun, stay active, be involved. Yeah, I get it. It is hard at times if you can't find that sponsor to get everybody to pitch in a little bit of money, but we've got those sponsor forms available for people when they do want to sign up for an adult sports. So we do offer that sponsor form for them that's already ready to go. All they got to do is take it to a company and say, hey, do you mind sponsoring? Even if it's a quarter of it or half of it, it helps out tremendously. But we're trying to put everything that we can to make it easier on people to get teams together and go out there and play.
And let me
yeah.
just go one step further. How many sites do we have? I'm thinking on the softball side. I know Brimmer. I know Converse, and again, Converse. You also have the young ladies out there for fast pitch.
Yep.
Coke Gonzalez, if I'm not mistaken.
Coke.
So I think we have about 6 or 7 facilities.
Yeah, we have a few facilities. We got Lions Park. You got Dunbar, Cookeville. We play a lot of our. For the majority, we stick to the two, Converse and Brimmer. Those are the two main ones that we stick to. If we do get bigger and bigger, then that's when we start looking at Cokeville or Dunbar or all those other fields that we can, exploit and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
For those who have never participated in CheyenneRec or again new to the town and are just curious, let's go into the details, David, of again whether it is basketball, softball, again, especially on the adult side.
Yeah.
How does this work? Of again, sign up through you, randomly chosen to a team, are standings kept? Let's get into kind of the details of how rec sports happen here in town, especially for those who again are first time at least experiencing this.
Yeah. So a lot of our stuff is on our website. It's just CheyenneRec.org. The other thing too that we put all of our sports on our social media pages, especially our Facebook page, which is CheyenneRec. We always put whatever registration is coming up. We always put it on there on our Facebook page. We always put it out there once a week, just continuously during registrations, when registrations are starting, when it ends, all that kind of stuff. So you can find all the information, a lot of it, on our social media page, Facebook page, and our website, the CheyenneRec.org website. And you can also just give us a call and just ask us, like, hey, what sports do you guys offer? And we'll get you pointed in the right direction on whoever is the coordinator in that sport.
I'd say right now, and to me, it seems like you, in addition to doing your outside activities, but it seems like this is almost like a 24/7 situation that you've all are doing sports. You're also signing up for sports. So tell us a little bit what you got going on. As you mentioned, you got basketball, volleyball, but what are we looking forward to after that?
Yeah, so we're gearing up right now. We're in high gear, getting ready for all of our summer programs that we're about to offer. That's usually our busiest time of the year. We've got lacrosse, we've got t-ball, we've got girls fast pitch softball, we got our adult men's and women's softball, our adult men's and women's co-rec softball. We are also bringing up a new program, our girls youth flag football, which has never been offered before. So we're pretty excited about that we're going to offer that one for high schoolers and stuff. And we got some stuff coming up in the spring. We're in registrations right now for dodgeball. This is the first year. Well, this is the second year in a few years that it's been ran, and I'll tell you what. If you're looking for a sport to go out there, have some fun, get some aggression out, that's the sport right there. It was a blast running that one for the first time in years. We also we're starting up a cornhole league. We know cornhole's getting bigger and bigger. So we decided, hey, let's go ahead and try to run a little cornhole league for all these people. Hopefully it's at a cheap, money-wise for people that can afford and just come out and have fun, throw some bags and stuff like that.
What does it take, as you mentioned again, introducing dodgeball and a few other, at least new, again, cornhole as well, too, to the rec department, but what does it take to add sports? Again, we talk, facilities, there's equipment that goes into it, but how big of a picture, for instance, if we wanted to add tennis, or we know over at I do believe at Lions Park, or again one of the parks again we have horseshoes available as well too. Yeah. What does it take to add sports?
Yeah, we sit down every year throughout the year and just think about what can we bring in. We're always looking at trying to bring in something new, something that people are wanting in the community. We're always looking at trying to build something. We'll sit down, we'll talk about it, we look at the logistics of it all. How can we run it? Where can we run it? All that kind of stuff. What is it going to cost everybody? What is it going to cost for us to run it? And we go for it. Sometimes it's hit and miss. I tried when I first got on. I tried to run adult flag football. It used to be big back in the days, and I tried to bring it back, and the interest wasn't there. So. Sometimes it's a hit and miss situation, but, we're always trying, bring something new in, and hopefully, it goes through.
Thankfully, here we are in 2023, well past kind of the pandemic, at least here in the city of Cheyenne and state of Wyoming. But, again, 2020, we did have to shut down. Yep. We saw, again, on the high school side, hey, springtime sports, and, again, some of the summer programs got they were done just due to the pandemic. How much did that affect rec?
It was a huge impact on us. We lost a lot of teams, especially on the adult side. The basketball league used to be a really big program. Ended up losing a lot of teams that way. So ever since then, it's kind of been like a rebuild mode for us at the rec division, just trying to build everything back up to where it was at, and even better is what we've been trying to do ever since then.
I was going to ask you how involved you are with the schools, because this would lead into my question. Thank goodness for the high schools, and you mentioned this earlier, adding girls fast pitch and what it has done for the city recreation programs in the summer. I saw it last year especially. You're seeing more interest in girls fast pitch. How involved are you with the schools in trying to develop programs, or talking to them about, hey, make sure your youngsters come on over and continue in our program?
Yeah, exactly. We do our best to go out to the schools, talk to the coaches, talk to the PE teachers, all those kind of people on whatever sport's coming up, and just say, hey, we do have this. It's, look at it as a feeder program for your school to help build up the players, attributes and all that kind of stuff, and get them better involved so that they're ready to go for when their season does start up. So that's the way we look at it too. Just trying to, we're almost like a feeder program for every sport that there is here in town for the junior highs and high schools.
David, want to get into, again, rec as we talk about these programs, both adult and youth, that are offered throughout the entire year. Again, whether it's indoors or outdoors, again, a lot of programs offered here by the city of Cheyenne. But let's go into kind of benefits again. A lot of people like to know what they're getting out of this, where, again, I can think of, obviously physical fitness, possible new friendships. I mean, what are the benefits of going out for Cheyenne Rec programs?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the coffin right there. Friendships is the biggest thing, especially with the youth sports. Just seeing the kids' smiles, during practices, at the end of the games. The kids talk about it throughout the year and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with adults. You build more friendships that way, playing against each other, whether it's a heated game or not. By the end of the day, you guys are shaking hands and having fun, maybe going out afterwards. Just staying active, I think, is the biggest thing for us, is making sure people are staying healthy and active and having fun and enjoying the time while they're out there playing the sport, whatever sport they're playing.
Appreciate you coming in and talking with us. And again, we kind of did a duel, with what you are involved with. Some of the things that we may not have touched upon that you want to add to the program to remind people of things that you are taking care of within the Parks Division, Parks and Rec Division.
I think, like I mentioned before, we offer something for someone, whether you think we don't or not. We've got crochet that we're looking at coming up. One of the things I did want to mention that we are looking at trying to boost as well, it's a new thing that I thought would be pretty cool to do, was for first-time responders. We want to have an open gym at our facility, the Youth Activity Community Center, every Fridays for those, in the fire department and police department that are looking to get some exercise out, during their breaks or off times or something like that. Just keep them active and healthy and all that kind of stuff. But just remember that, we do offer the financial aid assistance, so don't think that you can't afford it. Just come on down, fill out the form. Most likely, like I said, we won't turn anybody away. We want to get everybody involved as much as possible to play in the sport or whatever it is that you wanted to do and participate.
One last time, David, for folks, again, tuning in, again, if they didn't catch it earlier, remind folks how they get more, at least, information about Cheyenne's Rec and how they get involved with these programs.
Yeah, just go to our website, CheyenneRec.org. We always update everything. We always have our program guide on there. It changes. We got our summer program, winter, fall, spring guides that it's always up there on the website. It's always changing throughout the seasons. And the biggest thing, too, is just our Facebook page, is Cheyenne Rec. Just go to our Facebook page. That's where we post everything all the time, whatever sport, whatever activity it is, whether it's chair yoga, karate, basketball, whatever it is. We're always posting something on our Facebook page.
All right, sounds good. Dave Contreras from the Rec Division of the City of Cheyenne. We want to thank you so much. Appreciate it. Like I said, we'll catch up with you throughout the course of the basketball season as well. We're going to take a timeout. This is the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. We're back after these words.
Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI FM and 1480 K-Ray AM, are just that.
Local, serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOY and 1480 K-Ray.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials.
It's your one-stop to shop for these super radio buys heard only right here. Jack Daniel's Apple Tennessee Whiskey, 1 liter bottle, $19.99. Modelo Especial, 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, $28.99. And Old New England Eggnog, 1 liter bottle, $13.99.
Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
For over 30 years and still delivering the results you expect is Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service. Hi, this is Larry Proietti again for Cars in downtown Cheyenne, reminding you that John and his staff are there to take care of your vehicle's woes. From oil change and replacing windshield wipers to digging deep into fixing your heating and air conditioning unit or fixing your brakes and shocks, you can depend on Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service for taking care of most minor repairs. And most importantly, John is a TechNet professional, which means he is one of the best nationally when it comes to getting your car or truck back on the road as soon as possible. Check him out online at technetprofessional.com. Don't wait until the last minute. Have your vehicle serviced by one of the best in Cheyenne. Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service at 604 West Lincoln Way. Call for an appointment at 632-0498. That's 307-632-0498. Open Monday through Friday. MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in Bow, Cheyenne, and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-368-1307. 800-368-1307. 800-368-1307. That's 800-368-1307.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, a high wind warning has been posted through this evening. Mostly sunny. Expect a daytime high near 55. Windy conditions. Winds out of the west at 30 to 40, gusting as high as 65. For tonight, it's going to be increasing clouds with a slight chance of snow developing during the early morning hours. Breezy conditions are low down to 29. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly cloudy, snow likely and breezy. Look for a daytime high near 37. New snow accumulation of less than a half inch possible. And welcome back to the Pro Show. Larry Proietti, along with Nick Proietti. We get a chance to look back, especially on the James Johnson Winter Classic. Again, thank you. And I do say this sincerely, too, Nick. Thank you to those that came up, gave us a little pat on the back, thanking us for bringing the games. And, again, also you have that chance, too, when you can't be at a certain site, you could also watch it on our YouTube channel. So, again, it was nice watching some basketball, and we talked about the incident out of South, but let's talk about what was inside the gyms.
Yeah, I was going to say that little minor incident that happened post the game, which, again, we talked about yesterday on Cable Reports. But either way, though, again, it was a lot of basketball, again, a lot of teams in town, a lot of thrilling games where for us, again, seeing East, Central, and South, at least in the combined weekend that was a Thursday to Saturday, we, again, our efforts of seeing our teams in action again went 5-1. Again, the only loss was Cheyenne South against the Lady Wolves at Green River, which again was still a competitive contest. Give credit to Coach Epler and his team, where again they're vastly improved from last season. Yeah. It's still a growing pains team that's going to develop throughout this regular season. And again, will they be state tournament bound? Possibly not. But again, it's going to be what is this team capable in the future? They got a lot of talent there at Cheyenne South for the Lady Fighting Bison. But we'll go back.
Let's stop right there real quick on the Lady Fighting Bison. The one thing, and again, talking with Coach Epler, I think the one attribute that this team needs to really pick up towards the end of the year, they got to finish. They got to play 4 quarters. I think that's, again, yeah, they're playing 32 minutes. There's no doubt about it. But they got to play 4 consecutive strong quarters. They're right now not ready to go that distance yet.
No.
I think by the time we get to playoffs, if they can get 4 quarters under their belt solid, this is a team that you have to watch out for because there was a lot of talent. I really liked watching the Lady Fighting Bison, but you could see that their inexperience kind of caught up with them. Late in the game.
It's a team very quickly on Cheyenne South, which, again, we'll come back and talk about, again, when we saw them on Friday night. But for the Lady Fighting Bison, it's a team that, again, probably a lot of at least teams within Class 4A, whether it's on the west side of at least the east side, at least from last season, probably will overlook this Cheyenne South team without realizing that they got talent, that this is a team that, yes, is working upon bettering themselves game in, game out, that a situation when, again, we have those crosstown battles, which, again, are upcoming very soon between East and South. I think East versus South coming up next weekend over at Story Gymnasium, South versus Central. But, again, a lot of the crosstown battles where folks are going to hand immediately the victory to either East or Central, you got to stop and pause and say, hey, this Cheyenne South team is not the team of years old, or especially of last year, that this team is got some talents, got some tools, and is going to be competitive. May shock some teams as they go through this Class 4A Eastern Conference, whether it is out of the Southeast or the Northeast. So very interested to see what Coach Epler and his team is able to at least accomplish here in 2023 as they get through conference action, which again is ramping up here very quickly. I know for Cheyenne South coming up this weekend, again, a few games on the road. Again, they will on Saturday take on a 3A Wheatland team, which again, Wheatland was in town for the James Johnson Winter Classic. This Wheatland Lady Bulldogs team, pretty talented, especially in the lower classification, but see if South can pick up that victory coming up on Saturday. So looking forward to that. But moving away from Friday, which again we'll come back around to, but let's start on Thursday's action, day 1 of the James Johnson Winter Classic over at Cheyenne East for us, taking on a Rock Springs team where, again, similar to what I'm saying with Cheyenne South, where again a lot of folks kind of overlooked, in that contest, you kind of automatically handed the W's to Cheyenne East on both the girls and boys side. Clearly the girls side of what they're doing right now, which is, again, something special and unbelievable, and we will be there coming up this Thursday for a chance at history for Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds, where they're defending 4A champs back-to-back, looking for the three-peat. It's a juggernaut right now that's undefeated, especially in their preseason tournaments in December. That Cheyenne East, they, again, came out of the box a little slow against the Lady Tigers in that contest, but still found a way to win pretty handily against Rock Springs in that contest.
Yeah, looking at the Lady Thunderbirds, and what impressed me more than anything, and when we talk with Coach Westling, I will sing their praises, is that freshman group. You're talking about...
That's a scary thing.
Yeah, you're talking about Haas, Cashlyn Haas, Jade Brown, and Peyton Hall. Those 3 young ladies. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hall's like 5'7". Brown is 6'2", and I'm just looking here at my notes. Cashlyn is 6 foot.
You could already tell, and again, at least we'll spotlight with Brown, where again as a freshman, and again that height, even as a freshman right now, you got to imagine she's already getting looks at whether it is by LCCC or again other JUCOs or again colleges around this area where again, she's a freshman, and she's doing some phenomenal things. Again, of what we saw, we only have one litmus test or one game for her, but she, as a freshman, looked kind of, to me, kind of that team leader for Cheyenne. And again, we talk about the young, at least the young talent for the Lady Thunderbirds. Coach Westling has got to feel pretty happy that he's got a good crop for for many seasons moving forward, that this could be a dynasty in the making for Cheyenne if things go to their way, avoid kind of the major injuries. That Cheyenne, this is a team that could be in the conversation for the next couple seasons of state championship possibility, or at least making it the state title game at minimum, just with the amount of talent that they have that, again, is littered from, again, it's not a senior-laden team, that they got talent all classes that are Chinese.
Well, and they got the talent, and I throw out Brady Schlabs, who's been part of that varsity since she was a freshman. You look at Bowden Lilliadall, the Fonseca kid, and she is battling with the tall timber. She's a senior, but again, she gets relief with Haas, and she gets relief with Brown in the middle. They've got so many weapons, and again, too, Coach Westling, who took over Rusty Horsley a few years back, also has that tie with Carey. So again, he already knows what the future is going to be like coming up the hill to Cheyenne, so he keeps an eye on both programs at the same time. Yeah, the Lady Thunderbirds, and I was thinking about this coming back today, and again, I have been around long enough to see where East was up there, and then they just dropped right off the map during the late 80s into the 90s. Enter the likes of Rob Redmond, who I always credit him and Jerry Schlabs for rebuilding that program and getting it, where it was mentionable again, in the top four, that type of deal. And then again, as you look at Rusty Horsley comes in after Jerry Schlabs steps down, and then Eric Westling. This is a program right now that is comparable to the Gillette Camels of the late 80s, 90s, and into the early 2000s. I mean, right now, you expect them. You expect the Lady Thunderbirds, and you should as fans, every time they step on the floor, they're going to win. They're just that good. They're talented. There's no superstar. It's a team effort, and that's what we saw with the Gillette Camels teams back in the day, Nick. And, again, you're old, you're young enough to remember that. But there was no really 40, 30-point shooter out there. They were all right in that double figures, 5 of them on the floor all the time.
I would disagree with, again, you saying there's not a superstar out there. Instead, I would say there's superstars up and down that bench for Cheyenne. That, again, this team is for real. This team has a legitimate shot of three-peating this year, and I think that they should. Again, depending upon it, again, Cody will probably give them a fight on that girl, at least on the west side in Class 4A, but again, that title should stay pretty pristine here in Cheyenne over at Cheyenne East on the girls' side, that I have that much confidence, especially of what we've seen so far, that this team is, if not, again, what we saw, and again, it's only one game and against Rock Springs and nothing against the Lady Tigers. They put up a phenomenal fight against Cheyenne Central on Saturday when we saw them again. This Cheyenne East team, though, what we saw 2021, 2022, now here in 2023, this team might be, in my opinion, probably one of the better teams that Coach Westling's had. Yeah, again, from top to bottom. I think that's kind of the scary thing is, again, he's had 2 straight winners of state championships, that this is probably his best team he's had, at least since he's been the head coach over at Cheyenne East. And, again, that's something that's going to make that ripple and effect across the entire state of Wyoming, especially here in Class 4A, that watch out. This team has dynasty written all over it. They did have, and again, we'll say with Cheyenne East, had a scare Saturday against 3A Douglas, who they're loaded again. They're really good, and again, give respect to Douglas as well too. They're the one that set the all-time record for girls basketball last season with 48 victories. It's something that they gave them scare at half. It was a close contest. I think Cheyenne East led by 2, but eventually Lady Thunderbirds coming out of halftime really geared it up and took it to the Lady Bearcats and took them down pretty handily. But Cheyenne East, as it stands right now on the ladies' side, undefeated at 9-0. key matchup this Thursday, which, again, game we'll have here live on 1480 K-Ray. Looking forward to it. 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRay.com on the audio side, and video live streaming as we do on the 1480 K-Ray YouTube channel. Cheyenne East taking on Riverton at the Thunderdome. Chance for history for Coach Westling, chance for history for Cheyenne East, as they're going for 49 wins in a row, which would set a state record on the girls' side. Let's make note of that. On a girls' side, of 49 consecutive victories, which would up in last year's 48 by that Douglas team out of Class 3A.
And again, they'll do that. Lady Wolverines, they have been struggling for years and years and years. And again, I know that these young ladies are not going to take anybody for granted. But, again, the guards, the forwards, the center position for Cheyenne East. And, again, I go back to the depth. And this is what makes the Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds so good. They're ladies that come off the bench could be starters on most other teams.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Think about that. And again, too, I want to go back to the Rock Springs Lady Tigers, even though does anybody really give a hoot that I'm talking about Rock Springs? Yeah, I do. Because you know what? If they get a point guard, and I do like the one kid that was the point guard, but she's a 2. She should be shooting the basketball. If they could get somebody who can handle the basketball, get them out of press situations, backcourt press situations, get her the basketball, she's got a great three-point shot. They are big.
They got height.
And you mentioned it, too, during the broadcast. This Lady Tigers team, they find their mojo somewhere in this conference season because they are big up front. They are big in the middle.
It's a Ladies Tigers team, without a doubt, from Rock Springs that should be in the state tournament. Again, their overall record doesn't indicate that they will be on that pace, but again, watch out for them in their regional tournament that they should. Again, 1 through 4. Either way, though, Rock Springs expect to see them on the opposite side of the bracket, or at least opposing an East team coming up in that state tournament. I fully believe that they'll figure it out, and they'll find a way to get that at least state tournament up there in Casper. But again, Cheyenne East as well too. Going back very quickly, as we need to focus on the boys, and then eventually get into South and Cheyenne Central. But for Cheyenne East, the Lady Thunderbirds, again, 48 in a row, looking for the magical 49, would set a state record. I think the impressive thing, and nothing against Lady Bearcats of Douglas out of Class 3, again, they set the standard at 48 last year. Again, very impressive. And again, that's a talented team down in Class 3A. But again, look at Class 4A, though. Again, we talk about the talent, and especially look at what is against Cheyenne East, especially playing here in the Eastern Conference, where we talk year in and year out. The Eastern Conference, boys and girls, is kind of the more talented side here in Class 4A in the state of Wyoming, where, again, you're opposing Cheyenne Central that's had some good teams. Laramie Lady Plainsmen, can't overlook them. You look up to the northeast with Sheridan. You look whether it was Kelly Walsh or now Natrona. You look with Thunder Basin with Campbell County, and Campbell County that's had some recent success. It's a situation that they've been tested in these 48 straight wins by some top-tier talent, whether it's in this state, out of state, that it's pretty damn impressive that they're looking to set a state record here in Class 4A of just, again, where they play in a conference that has a lot of talent and a lot of good teams that could upset you at any point in time.
And also, too, you step down south, playing some preseason as well. So, with the East Lady Thunderbirds, they should be getting that record, and you're absolutely right. It would shock us that they're not on the Forward Events Center floor coming up in mid-March. It would shock us for that state championship run again.
I'd equate it'd be probably a little bit higher than what we saw a couple seasons ago with that undefeated Cheyenne Central team, where, again, for Tag Lane and company, again, didn't make it out of the regional tournament and didn't get in, where, again, they ran the table outside of losing one contest to a Scottsbluff Bearcats team. I would equate it to similar of that of this team. How do they lose? How, again, right now for Cheyenne East, and again, nothing against South or Central, again, as we root for all of them as well too, but for Cheyenne East, on the lady side, who's beating this team for a state title? Again, and Cody tried last year and failed, and again, that same Cody team's going to oppose them. And again, I say Cheyenne East this season, compared to last year's state title, at least winning team, is better than last year.
And the Lady Plainsmen of Laramie are a lot better this year too, but I just don't think they got the horses. And again, I think one of the key things, and this will lead into the boys, the key thing for Cheyenne East you put that 5 out on the floor, Fonseca, Schlabs, Lilliadall, Cassett, and DeLong. You put those 5 out there, they're pretty doggone good. And then you take them off the floor, and the next 5 that Westling puts on, and includes 3 freshmen, they're pretty doggone good. Now you flip it over to the boys' side.
Well, very quickly, do you want to at least make a plug for us? Again, coming up at 12:40 today, we will talk with head coach Eric Westling. Again, talk about history in the making. Again, preview that contest coming up again this Thursday, which we'll have here live against Riverton at the Thunderdome. So, again, we will at least preview that contest, talk about the history in the making, potentially, and again, looking at back at the weekend that was. So, again, 12:40, we will talk with East head coach on the girls' side, Eric Westling.
And again, now you flip it over to the guys' side, where the East High Thunderbirds are pretty decent, but I think their depth is going to hurt them. I don't think they have the depth. Now, I will say the 5 they got out there, and this is just my opinion. You take it for what it's worth. I've seen a lot of basketball. I've seen a lot of East basketball in my lifetime. They've got talented kids. I really like Jackson. I really like the Nathan Marriage kid. We've seen Coulter McAnally on that varsity squad now for about 3 years. I think they're weak in the middle.
You mentioned, again, Coulter McAnally, who I spotlighted in that contest. Let's see, basically said, hey, let's see what he can contribute to this team and kind of lead him to that victory against the Rock Springs Tigers on Thursday. I was surprised to see he was shut down by Rock Springs. Give credit to that defense for the Tigers that kept him a little quiet, especially with his size and height and what his ability is on that basketball court. Kept him quiet. I was surprised. I was expecting a lot more out of Colton.
And again, too, I like Schlabs. We've seen him since he's been a sophomore on the floor. But and then the only key really for Cheyenne East, and this is where I'm going to leave it at, Cam Hayes coming off the bench, your number 6. And again, he could be a starter on anybody else's team as well, too.
Yeah.
He comes off the bench, but after that, it gets a little dicey. And again, with Jolly in the middle, he's got to amp up his game. I'm still, at 6'6", you got to be right around that near dominating in the middle part.
Yeah. On the boys' side, Cheyenne East, will they make it to the state tournament?
Absolutely.
I feel confident that, yes, they will. Will they get back to that state title game? Ooh, again, you look at some of the other talent around this Class 4A on the boys' side, especially up there in the north. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be tough to get back to where they were last year, taking on Thunder Basin and eventually losing to that Bolts team for the 4A championship. But for Cheyenne East on the guys' side, again, we'll equate it of the team we saw a couple at least times already this season. Again, we saw them on Saturday. Cheyenne Central. If East is to lose one of their starting 5, you kind of equate them to Cheyenne Central, where, again, with them losing Talich, this is a team where you're a little worried. Yeah. Again, you talk about the bench play, absolutely. They have an Achilles heel, and it is outside of the 6th man, who do they go to? Who's going to help this team when, again, those legs get a little weary, get a little tired out? We run into, again, sickness and injury, as, again, every team does here, that – where are they going to find that support?
And this is no dissing on Joey Rail. He's a senior. Looking at Brendan Bowman coming off the bench. These guys are minutes grabbers. Okay, are they going to be somebody that can turn a ball game around? Probably not. Cam Hayes can. We saw that where he could step in and light it up in a hurry. But again, like you mentioned, if Cam had to start, heaven forbid anybody got hurt on Cheyenne East, the bench got that much weaker. So, and I think, in case of Rusty Horsley, he's got a good trump card in his back pocket in Cam Hayes. And that's a guy who can light it up and get everybody excited real quick. Again, as I mentioned, with Schlabs, with Mirich, Jackson, and McAnally. And again, I really want to see more improvement with Kaiser Jolly. He's got to take his game to the next level. Right now, I think it's fair. He's got to get good or very good.
He's got to establish himself in the inside without a doubt. Where, again, East had opportunities. They were in that paint, but, again, it was a lot of rush shots that, again, just got to settle down, avoid kind of bouncing that basketball on the floor before taking that shot. Just go at the hoop. Without a doubt. It's something that East is going to develop, or at least hopefully work upon those kind of issues throughout the season to prepare them for the regional and hopefully for the state tournament. But, give all the praise as we will to Cheyenne East on the boys' side, but give credit to Rock Springs. And again, we saw them twice this weekend. Again, similar to the Lady Tigers, the Tigers watch out for them on the west side. That team should make it to the state tournament. They got a lot of talent.
I like that the DeBoer kid. He's a flyer. He's got some outside shooting. The southpaw. Boy, I'll tell you what.
They got the speed. They got height. They got some long range shooters.
But
well,
they
too,
do.
kind of
They
shooters.
do get flustered if you throw some backcourt pressure on them. They have a hard time getting
again,
it over the timeline.
Is that something that you can work throughout the season as you see more and more action? I think so. Again, I think that Rock Springs team has enough talent, and again with the coaching staff there that they could probably get past that.
But their height-wise, Harris is 6'4". That's their big guy, Dalton Harris, and then you got Butcher.
You're still matching up though pretty well.
I understand they are, but
you're taller than Cheyenne South and a few other 4A schools.
But again, you look at Harris and you look at Butcher. They're more, linebacker, lineman type guys. They're not going to be able to push that ball down the court for you. You're expecting your backcourt people to get it over there. And again, Central frustrated them quite a bit Saturday, especially in the backcourt where they committed a lot of turnovers.
But again, even with the frustration with the issues and same with the contest against Cheyenne East, Rock Springs was a few plays away and a few miscues if they cleaned it up a bit from winning those contests.
Well,
I think plain and simple, again, I think Rock Springs gave Cheyenne East where we kind of handed Thunderbirds the victory, at least in our minds, that they should have no problem with Rock Springs. Same with Cheyenne Central. You kind of stopped and paused as we watched that game unfold that Rock Springs had legitimate shots. They had leads. They had legitimate shots of winning that ball game if they cleaned up a few things.
Well, and again, too, like with DeBoer could carry that team on his shoulders. I'm sorry. I have to say that. What DeBoer is, he's a total package player. He for the Tigers, he can dish it off. He can bring it on down. He also is unselfish. I guess that would be the key word because again, there's his speed. He can get in the lane and get finger roll-ups all the time. He can live off that all day long.
He's a sharpshooter from the outside as well too. We saw him hit some bigs.
But again, he's a team player, so he wants to make sure everybody touches the basketball. But realistically, he should just start carrying that team on his shoulders and do a lot of the yeoman work himself.
You saw that in the second half when they took on Cheyenne Central. It seemed like he really ramped it up, realizing that they were down to the Indians. And, again, he really picked it up and tried to get that team back within it. Thankfully, again, for both East and Central, again, we'll talk about that Saturday action, possibly at least coming up in hour number 2. But for Cheyenne Central, for Cheyenne East, again, came away with a victory. But, again, it was kind of a shock to the system of, hey, we're not handed victories here. We got to earn them, even if a team that's on the overall record below 500. You still got to earn it. Where Rock Springs, you got to watch out for those teams that are kind of flying under the radar, especially on the west side. That again, we talk about the East this, East that, and again, it still has the talent. Still think that we're going to crown boys and girls again East Conference champions in the state tournament, but. The West teams right now are kind of stopping and pausing and saying, hey, give us some respect.
And again, too, you won in your own buildings. I mean, think about this, too, Nick. And again, Central is assistant coach or junior varsity coach Randy Philbin. And him and I go back a long way. Matter of fact, even to his playing days when he was with Cheyenne Central. He'll come on this radio program and tell you the same thing. We won at the field house, but going and playing at the Tigers Den, that's a different breed of cat. It's a tough house to win in. So, again, be thankful you won here at home. When you got to get these teams on the road at their place, it's even tougher.
Yeah, it certainly is. Again, would that be the difference maker of, again, Rock Springs winning those contests? Yeah, I think plain and simple. Again, a little home cooking being there, especially for Rock Springs where, again, you were 3 straight days away at least from your beds, again, staying in hotels here in Cheyenne. I think that was kind of a difference maker in that Cheyenne Central game as well, too, that, again, legs were a little bit tired, and, again, a team that was probably ready to be back in Sweetwater County. But either way, again, Thursday's action saw a sweep by Cheyenne East. Girls, again, took care of business pretty handily.
I really like that girls team. I think Eric Westling's got himself. He's got a dynasty.
It's a dynasty in the making. I think plain and simple, especially where you look at just up and down classes that are available from freshmen up to seniors. That this team has talent out of just every which way that this team can do is already doing something special. But this is history in the making. That this is a team that could do something extremely special that the state of Wyoming has probably never seen in its entire high school hoops existence. It's going to be fun to watch at what Coach Westling does on the boys' side for Cheyenne East. Again, they got issues. It's a talented team, whatever. But they got to work a few kinks out before they can get back into that state title conversation. At least for myself, that again, few other teams got to vaulted themselves in front of them of, okay, let's compare them and see how they do when they do face Thunder. When they do see Cheyenne Central, let's see what Cheyenne East is made of on their route in that regional tournament and getting back into that state title.
And if I were a betting man, if I was doing the DraftKings right now, I would say East probably has that front runner shot to get into the state tournament over Central. Central, I saw how they slipped a little bit with the loss of the Talmadge kid. But again, they'll have to be a work in progress throughout the course of the year.
Don't overlook Laramie again.
But I'm
even
just
though,
saying,
again,
East is probably right now the front runner to get into the state tournament.
And again, didn't see how Laramie did on the boys' side here, part of the James Johnson Winter Classic. But again, yeah, I think East Central, again, top 1 or 2 at least to come out.
I saw Sheridan. I like the way they play. We saw them Thursday when we sat down. They're pretty decent. Thunder's going to be decent. They got a rallying cry up there as well, too, and I hate to use that, but with the passing of Max Sorensen, they are going to, definitely this season's going to be dedicated in his honor. The Camels always, put out a good squad. So, again, the North.
And Trona as well, too. Yeah.
Trona's kind of like, you kind of throw them in the mix of Laramie and Central right now. They're okay, but, they lack a couple of things right now. So,
but any given Thursday, Friday, Saturday night in Class 4A, again, when these teams get into conference action, again, taking on the East, again, whether it is South, whether it is Central, whether it is East, can be shocked, can get victories. Again, it's going to be an extremely competitive side on the boys' side. Again, specify on that again on the boys' side here in basketball in Class 4A on the East side. Any given Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, whether it's on the road, in town, neutral site at Story Gymnasium, anyone can shock anyone. Yeah. I think plain and simple.
And we haven't had a chance to talk about the South boys, and let's do that when we come back on the front side of the 12 o'clock hour. So we will be back with more, hour number 2 of the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti. He's Nick Proietti. We're back after these words on 1480 K-Ray.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. It's your one-stop to shop for these Super Radio buys heard only right here. Jack Daniel's Apple Tennessee Whiskey, 1 liter bottle, $19.99. Modelo Especial, 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, $28.99. And Old New England Eggnog, 1 liter bottle, $13.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Wisdom, expertise, compassion, qualities that are the foundation of Cheyenne Urological, with their experienced doctors and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. You can trust Cheyenne Urological to give you the highest quality urinary care. Now offering the latest in robotic surgery, call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131. That's 635-4131.
For 17 years at Kia of Cheyenne, we have strived to offer the best value in a new vehicle. I'm AJ Miller, and the new 2023 Kia Seltos will take on the roads with rugged capabilities for all climates. The 2023 Kia Seltos has available all-wheel drive, 10-inch touchscreen, heated seats, and turbocharged power. With a new Kia, get one of the best warranties in the business. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Since 1966, Cheyenne and Laramie County has depended on and trusted family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company for all your lumber and hardware needs at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
For almost 60 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proietti at 307-637-0301.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, a high wind warning has been posted through this evening. Mostly sunny. Expect a daytime high near 55. Windy conditions. Winds out of the west at 30 to 40, gusting as high as 65. For tonight, it's going to be increasing clouds with a slight chance of snow developing during the early morning hours. Breezy conditions are low down to 29. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly cloudy, snow likely and breezy. Look for a daytime high near 37. New snow accumulation of less than a half inch possible. Right now on 1480 K-Ray, it's time for the Pro Show, featuring the only father and son sports talk show talking about the local sports scene as we take a look back and look ahead to upcoming events around our area. The Pro Show is on now, right here on 1480 K-Ray.
And we welcome you back. Hour number 2, the Pro Show still to come. We'll hear from Burns Lady Bronx head coach Barry Ward, athletic director over at Burns High School.
Who, according to my notes, went a perfect 4-0, a part of their 2A East Girls Smackdown in Burns and Pine Bluffs. Again, both Pine and Burns hosted a similar Winter Classic, but again, it was the 2A Smackdown out there in Burns and Pine Bluffs. But on the girls' side for the Lady Bronx, again, according to my notes, again, looking at the scores, went a perfect 4-0 this weekend. So.
And they got healthy because they entered that tournament at 1-7.
Yeah.
So that was, again, the home cooking really helps out, especially for the Lady Bronx. We get a chance now, as we were talking about Thursday, and then we kind of drifted into other days because the tournament, again, we saw...
we saw similar opponents of Rock Springs.
Yeah, we saw Rock Springs on Thursday and Saturday. But let's talk about the South High Fighting Bison. We'll talk about the boys. We did mention a little bit about the girls. But this is a team. And Nick, you've always used the word dark horse teams. This is the epitome of a dark horse team. They can't sneak up on you.
Yeah, but for the boys, I think again, not so much the issue, but again, the problem that they find themselves in, again, as you want to award them a dark horse kind of title, is that they play in this conference that, again, as I mentioned, again, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a bloodbath where Laramie's good, East is good, Central's good. But again, any given Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, whether it's at Story or, again, on the road, that, yes, South can pull off a victory, but, again, is South, again, a team that is undersized compared to most teams? Again, they're going to be undersized.
6'2",
Central,
6'3" is their biggest
They're going to be undersized to Central and East, without a doubt, and Laramie as well, too, from what we saw down there in Greeley. But this Cheyenne South team has talent, has got some grit, got some toughness, without a doubt. They got some shooters out there. They got to fine-tune things similar to Cheyenne East and Central as well, too. If Coach Bryan can get that team moving in the right direction, keep an eye out that they could be that dark horse team coming out of the Southeast quadrant and could get back in that state tournament, which, again, they haven't been in for quite a few seasons at this point in time. Cheyenne South, that game against Green River this Friday night was thrilling. It had a playoff atmosphere that this team, again, in that moment, if they find themselves in that situation, especially once we get in the regional tournament up there in Casper and Natrona County, they've been through it before already to start out this season, that they know that experience. And the beauty of it is they found a way to come away with a victory to come over against a very talented Wolves team. Give Green River credit, as we're doing with Rock Springs as well, too. Green River on the boys' side, that's a team to keep an eye on, the boys over there on the west side.
Yeah,
too.
they got some good outside shooting. Let's give them, from Coach Ivy's kid all the way down. They've got their guards are very good outside shooters. Now for the Cheyenne South Fighting Bison, I look at the Pountney kid. We know him from football. Jonathan Strong, I thought he played exceptional. But the one that really struck me throughout the course of that game, and this kid laid it all on the floor. And, again, this had, like you said, playoff atmosphere to it, was Caden Hart. When he was at the point, for Cheyenne South. That team was a team that was just ready to pick them up, put them down, shoot it from anywhere in the building, find the open man, play defense, hard nose. Chad Bryan got more than 100% out of his kids in that win against the Green River Wolves.
We talk about the defense again, that full court press that South put on against Green River kind of frustrated them. Again, we also look back to that contest where again it was the game where at least and again we had David in, who I do believe was at least one of the officials of a part of that contest where.
Right.
Again, some questionable calls. Again, it was something where officiating crew, again, we're going to be hot and heavy on them, and we were in that broadcast. Kind of took that game out of South and Green River's hands and kind of not so much made it about them, but again, foul situation, foul difficulty mounted up very quickly in that contest where, again, we had few players for both sides that, again, we're sitting with 2-3 fouls as we were heading into halftime that, again,
it was tightly called.
It was tightly called and kind of altered the play for both teams where, again, it was physical, it was fast, and I think took away from both of those teams and took away, especially for Cheyenne South, what the true capability or again, we didn't see – I personally feel like we didn't see what fully Cheyenne South is just due to the fact of the amount of foul calls, again, where South probably had to alter some style of play just due to the fact that, again, we were looking at about, again, 20 fouls, 20-plus fouls in a matter of two halves called against both teams. And again, I guess, if anything, for that officiating crew that was there at Cheyenne South, again, they called it on both sides. But I think plain and simple for the at least for the Fighting Bison, that we didn't see truly what this South team is. Just I think they got handcuffed a little bit just due to the fouls that this team, if they run into again a regional tournament where we alluded to of, hey, these officials in that postseason play allow these teams to play they're a little bit more lenient, let them play their style of basketball. That's where I'm going to be curious to see what Cheyenne South is, where again we saw a tidbit of what this talent or at least what South is capable of.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think I saw enough to just in one game. That's all I needed for that South team. Again, you look at a kid like Noah Hagberg. They got to keep him on the floor. He's a wide body, but he's a good athlete.
Yeah.
Gabe Hernandez, who might have had a night off. I'm assuming he's a lot better than he's got to step up his play a little bit. But like I said, Pountney didn't surprise me, and Jonathan Strong, I thought he was an exceptional basketball player. But Caden Hart was the one that stepped up out of the box, and this kid can match up with the Shumways of the world, the Drew Jacksons of the world, or the Garrett Schlaps. He can sit in your back pocket defensively, offensively, good ball handler. He's not going to get you in trouble. He's going to try to find that open person or take that shot himself. I like the makeup of South. Just they got to play that spoiler role.
They also too got to play the full four quarters, where we saw a little bit of collapse. Green River made a run of it, and again tied up the ball game there at the last few seconds to send it into OT. It is similar, at least to an extent, to the Lady Fighting Bison, where again they got to play the full four quarters. And like I said, I feel like that's why I say that Cheyenne South. And again, this is not a bad thing. It's more so of they have a lot more to show on that court. And again, they have a lot more than what happened this Friday night, even though, again, coming away with the victory. That, again, I think the foul situation, being handcuffed a little bit of their style of basketball that they play, you saw the frustration. You saw it on the court where, again, a couple players were kind of throwing up their arms going, hey, why is this being called? What is going on?
Right.
This is how I'm taught. This is how I play. And I think that kind of got into the situation of that Green River come from behind in that fourth quarter to eventually tie up that ball game. Again, thankfully, once we got into overtime, Cheyenne South took control. That crowd was plain and simple the sixth man there at Cheyenne South to get Fighting Bison that victory. And again, came away with the overtime win. That's why I'm saying for Cheyenne South, yeah, I guess as I talk about it, think about it for Cheyenne South, put them in that dark horse role, without a doubt here in Class 4A, and especially here in this quadrant. Can they beat an East team? I think they can. It might take some special circumstances, but again, I think they can. Central with no talent right now, can they beat Central? Yeah, I think they can in neutral site. Again, both of those games would be at neutral site at Story Gymnasium. Can they beat the Laramie Plainsmen? I think so. I think this team is going to be gritty enough that they're going to have battles with a lot of these teams come postseason when they get a few things figured out, or at least become that full package. And again, when they're allowed to play their solid basketball, watch out. South could be that team that finally gets back in the state tournament.
And where I'm going to disagree with you is Laramie 6'6" post.
The height, I get the height is the concerning thing.
East 6'6" post for Cheyenne Central with James Brown in the middle. He's 6'5".
But again, is South on the boys' side going to roll over and die when again they're opposing a 6'6", 6'7", or whatever again height disadvantage that they see throughout this
and they're going to see it all season long.
Yeah, without a doubt. And they certainly saw it against Green River a little bit. Green River had some height to them as well. Cheyenne South on the boys' side, again, are they going to go unbeaten in conference play? No. Are they going to pick up a few victories? Without a doubt. This is a team that's not going to roll over and die when they see height opposing them. This is a team, again, and I go back to Friday's contest against Green River that, again, all odds against them, this is a team that's going to fight to the bitter end. It's going to find a way to pull out a close game victory.
You know, we had David Contreras, who is with the rec division of the city of Cheyenne, and David also does some refereeing. And you said some questionable calls where everybody was kind of raising their hands on it. And again, I say this because I've seen enough of this through my years here in town. And back in the day, when you got to regionals, it was an hour and 45 minutes. State, it was an hour and 30. You had to get those teams on and off the floor.
Well, and postseason's different than regular season.
Yeah, usually, the refs were swallowing the whistles. But again, up in Casper, you saw more northern officials than you did southern officials.
Yeah.
So, and again, these are officials that are voted on all-star wise by coaches. So you look.
And again, we know on the floor that again there were Cheyenne representatives. Again, one who was making most of the calls.
And again, what I'm saying is and I mentioned this to David in general. We either, I can understand it's preseason. I'll live with the fact that it's preseason. But I
wouldn't even consider this preseason. Again, you're in it. This is now conference play.
Yeah, well, you start conference here officially next week. But my point is, I think when we get to the conference season, we got to see a little more leniency on hand checks, that type of deal, because you're not going to see those calls coming up at Natrona for the regional, and you're not going to see them in Casper.
That's why I said it was a disservice to Cheyenne South, where, again, I don't think you saw the full fighting Bison capability out of that team, just due to the fact that, again, I felt like they were handcuffed by, again, the amount of fouls, again, the stoppage of play. Again, this is a team that is run and gun. It's going to be physical, without a doubt. We saw that. But, again, they got ticketed for a lot of kind of those, you breathe on them fouls, and you kind of go, where are you seeing this from? Yeah. That's why I say for Cheyenne South, again, Friday, not so much, again, I don't think disservice is a right term, but it was something that, again, the amount of fouls, or at least the style of officiating that was on that floor that night, kind of hurt Cheyenne South. Again,
it hurts
play
both
side.
teams because,
again, without a doubt,
to use the phrase, the ebb and flow, when the zebra stripes are taking over the game. And again, any type of close play, whatever the case may be, Nick, that is kind of the disservice to the game. And again, even David mentioned as well, bigger, faster, stronger, and you're seeing these kids literally fly down the court.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep up with these guys, even with the three-person crew. But the thing is, too, you have to have some type of ebb and flow. And I think they're towards probably the early part of the fourth quarter into the overtime. That flow went bye-bye because they started taking over. And again, these groups down here in southern Wyoming, southeastern Wyoming, have to realize once they move north or central Wyoming that the calls are going to, you're going to teach them habits that are going to hurt them 2-3 months down the road.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like I said, it plain and simple did feel like a disservice of both teams. What happened, again, just the amount of fouls that were going on and called, and again, especially in the girls' contest as well, too. We saw the discrepancy go against Green River in that girls' contest. But again, yeah, boys game, Wolves fighting Bison. Kind of felt like officials took over that contest. It was about them, not so much of the players on the court, at least in my opinion. But either way, it still was a thrilling contest. It was a heated contest as well, too. Again, both sides, Green River fans, Cheyenne South fans in attendance, really getting into that. Again, it had that playoff atmosphere. Again, how about a three-pointer to tie the ball game by the Wolves there to send it into overtime, but give credit to Cheyenne South in that overtime. Took control, took advantage, frustrated that Green River team, and came away with the victory. And again, in a thrilling fashion to round out at least Friday's action there at Cheyenne South. So it was a fun one. I don't think we're going to get what we could do right now, again, as we need to get to Barry Ward here very shortly, but we can save Cheyenne Central in between him and Eric Westling, since, again, we have not talked about Saturday's action.
Well, but I was going to say real quick, too, same thing with Coach DeBryant. He runs into that similar situation as I feel with a Cheyenne East. Now, again, after Cam Hayes, it's a little weak off the bench. He does not have that strong of a bench, and I'm not dismissing Austin Weber's play. Was it Wilmarth who came off the bench? You know, again, when these guys come off, they got to be contributors. They can't be bodies on the floor, and that's what I thought most of those guys were that came off the bench. They were just, guys that were, they were eating up minutes and helping out, but, they got to be contributors. And I think if Chad and Brian get commitments out of all of these guys to be contributors, this could be a good team.
Yeah, I again, we're both talking about, again, agreeing with that with Cheyenne South, that they have that opportunity to be good, again, be that dark horse team. We shall see how they develop throughout the season. Again, it's, Chad DeBryant's, again, longtime head coach, knows what it takes at Cheyenne South. Again, on the girls' side now, transitioning over coaching boys basketball. Again, keep an eye out for the Cheyenne South team that, yes, they're going to make waves. Again, it's an outside shot for them to get in the state tournament, but can they? What I saw Friday night,
there's a possibility.
I think it's a gritty team that, I think they could.
All right. Do we need to take a timeout? Let's do that. Let's take a timeout, and when we come back, we will chat with Burns, Lady Bronx head coach Barry Ward, right after these words here on 1480 K-Ray.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. That's 800-797-0711.
1480 K-Ray is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. To hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 K-Ray features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 K-Ray, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480kray.com.
Tired of choosing between errands and adventures? Platte Valley Bank can help you take care of everything without missing anything. Next time you get a check, just sign, snap, and send the money directly into your account with mobile deposit. We can't fill your fridge, but we can save you a trip to the bank. Mark another errand off your list and get back to life. Platte Valley Bank, you belong here.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-413-7619. 800-413-7619. 800-413-7619. That's 800-413-7619.
At the Cheyenne Regional Heart and Vascular Institute, you're welcomed with the warmth of a community hospital and cared for with help from the most advanced technology in the industry. With our full spectrum of in-house heart services and procedures, you can get the treatment you need, recover, and get right back out there, all while remaining close to home. Find out more at CheyenneRegional.org/heart.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, a high wind warning has been posted through this evening. Mostly sunny. Expected daytime high near 55. Windy conditions. Winds out of the west at 30 to 40, gusting as high as 65. For tonight, it's going to be increasing clouds with a slight chance of snow developing during the early morning hours. Breezy conditions are low down to 29. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly cloudy, snow likely and breezy. Look for a daytime high near 37. New snow accumulation of less than a half inch possible. We welcome you back to the Pro Show. I'm Larry Proietti along with Nick Proietti. We go east about 20 miles and we make our next stop in Burns, Wyoming, and we get a chance to talk with the athletic director at Burns High School, but also the Lady Broncs head basketball coach, Barry Ward. Barry, so nice to talk with you again. Happy New Year, and let's talk some hoops with your Lady Broncs.
All right, Happy New Year to you guys as well.
All right, let's take a look at the Lady Broncs, and we'll talk about well, you kind of laid the smack down, so to speak, this past weekend. But you know, it was a rough go out of the box at 1-7, and then a little home cooking. And you have to be very impressed how your ladies came back after the Christmas break.
You know, our record was 1-7, but we actually played some really good basketball during that stretch. It just wasn't good enough to win. And this weekend we got to host on the girls' side of the 2A SmackDown, and we got on the win side.
You know, talk about, you know, and again, we've had that luxury of calling football over at Burns High School, and again, it is a community event when the Broncs or Lady Broncs are in action. But just talk about that home cooking throughout the weekend, where the fans there, again, the community makes that more than just a sixth man.
Absolutely. You know, and dividing the boys and the girls up made our crowd a little lighter over the course of the weekend. But it takes a lot of people to put on any kind of tournament, and the community supports it really, really well. And we had really good support both for the boys in Bighorn and Tongue River and the girls at home this weekend.
Coach, we want to talk to you about, again, something that is different here in 2022, 2023 is the move for the Burns Lady Broncs and Burns in general, at least on the boys and girls basketball side. Again, was in 3A last season, has dropped down to 2A. Talk about the Activities Association, or at least Burns' decision, your decision, again, to drop down from 3A to play now in Class 2A alongside with the Pine Bluffs Lady Hornets and Hornets.
You know, that decision is kind of out of our hands. It's based on the classification system, and the 16 biggest are obviously 4A, and the next 16 are 3A, and we fell under that threshold for at least 2 years. And unless the classification system changes, you know, we're always going to be right on the bubble and bouncing back and forth between those two classifications.
You know, Barry, as you mentioned, too, you had a really good preseason schedule. And, again, taking on some quality teams, and, again, having the success you did this weekend as you get ready for Class 2A conference action. But right now, sizing up your side of the conference, tell us a little bit. As I'm looking at the numbers, this is a pretty competitive conference for your Lady Broncs.
Oh, absolutely, and it is every year. Every team that we're going to play in our conference is extremely well coached. Every team has lots and lots of good athletes. You know, and we set our schedule up that way because, like I said before, we're on the bubble and we don't know if we're going to go up or down. And it's just not fair to our younger kids to not get to see a lot of 3A competition just in case their junior and senior years they go back. But, yeah, I think our conference is going to be really competitive.
Coach, let's talk about it as, again, a first-time opportunity with you to preview your team. And, again, we will see Burns take on Pine Bluffs a couple times this season, as we at least will have that coverage here on 1480 K-Ray. For your Lady Broncs, again, graduated a lot of at least seniors last year. Again, some talented players. But, again, let's preview your team of, do we have a good mixture of fresh all the way up to the seniors? Did we get a good turnout that we're enthused about Lady Broncs basketball here for 2023?
We have a good mix. The majority of the kids that see the majority of our varsity minutes are juniors and seniors. For some of them, it was their first varsity action, but they're kids that we've had in the program for a long time. So we're really excited about our team.
You got a couple of kids out there that stand out to me that, I've been, keep an eye on their stats. The young lady Cower, I hope I said it right, Cower, Kaur. And the Greasy youngster. Talk about their performances on the floor and the other ladies that are contributors. And again, too, like we were talking about here in Class 4A, you got to have support off the bench. So do we have that 6th and 7th and 8th player that you can lean on to come in there and get you some good minutes?
We do. GJ is a really effective post player for us and a kid that can really shoot the ball. And because she can shoot the ball, she obviously draws a lot of defensive attention. And because of that, she is a really, really good passer as well. She's either top 2 or 3 in assists on our team right now, and that's a great thing to have from your post player. She actually broke a school record last week with 8 block shots in one game. And I told her, I said, that's awesome, but don't ever do it again. And she just giggled. But Jordan Grease, extremely athletic guard for us, does a lot of things, a tremendous defender. And then we have Savannah Kirkbride and Brooke Hansen, who play our wing spots, both really long, both really athletic kids. And then we have Anna Siebert, who's our 5th starter, and is a kid that doesn't just light up the stat column, but she doesn't do things to hurt us, and I think she's probably a underappreciated or undernoticed performer on our team. And then we can go to the bench, and we have Sadie Barrett, who's a reserve post player for us. And we have Sarai Eklund, who can either play guard or wing, and they're both juniors. And then we have another junior, her name is Bella Laguna, who's does a nice job handling the ball, can shoot it a little bit. And then we have some younger kids that step in and help us fill the voids when we need to also.
Coach, as we mentioned again, got healthy over this past weekend out there in Burns. Again, 4 straight, taken down also to number 3 at the time. Again, Tongue River, at least team, winning by that, at least contest by 3 points. Right now, puts you in the standing 2nd place, just behind Lingle Fort Laramie. Getting into Class 2A, Southeast Quadrant, again, you'll see the likes of Pine Bluffs, Luss, Lingle Fort Laramie. That's right now above you in the standings, just on the overall. But again, before we get into conference play, but size up the Southeast Quadrant for the Burns Lady Broncs, where again, Coach, it's been a while since this team has been into that state tournament. Does it have that feeling, Coach, to you as any given Friday, Saturday, Thursday, or again, any weekend matchup, whether home or on the road, it's going to be kind of a dog battle to at least get those victories to kind of put yourself in a good position for the regional tournament?
Sure, absolutely. And, right now we're still in one game at a time mode. We don't ever look too far ahead. We have a really, really tough opponent tonight in Bridgeport, Nebraska, who happens to be the number 1 team in C1 of the state of Nebraska, which says a lot. They have 2 D1 players on their team. So we still have some really, really hard games on our schedule. And then next week we're going to start into conference play. And just watching this weekend, I would guess that Lingle would have to be the odds-on favorite at this point in time. They're really athletic and they're young and they play really hard. And other than that, I haven't watched anybody else in the Southeast play.
Barry, and going back, as you mentioned, you got Bridgeport coming up this evening, but I want to go back one last time to this tournament. And again, you purposely set up that hard beginning before the Christmas break where you went 1-7, and then again the smackdown where you picked up the 4 wins over the weekend. Talk about the confidence. And again, as you guys got back onto the floor, got ready for work, as you get ready for Bridgeport and heading into conference play, can you see a little more in the girls' step after those wins this weekend?
Well, I think winning just automatically promotes more confidence. But, I think our kids did a really good job of not necessarily watching the win-loss record or even the scoreboard. I think the kids themselves felt like we were playing good basketball. We just weren't doing enough to end up getting wins. The first 2 weeks our record was 1-7, but could have very easily have been 4-4. And we were right in those games, and we just had some scoring lapses that let us down a little bit. But, I think that, we're going to see a way more confident team in the next couple of weeks because of that.
All right, Barry. Well, we're going to let you go. I know, Nick, you got Pine and Burns on our schedule. I'm sure that's going to be a very low attended affair coming up here throughout the course of the of the 2A season. But we're looking forward to coming out again and catching some basketball action with the Lady Broncs and the Lady Hornets as well. So, Barry, good luck to you. 2A season coming up here next week. Good luck against Bridgeport this evening.
Great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All righty. That's Barry Ward, head coach of the Lady Broncs at Pine Bluffs. I was just making light, Nick. I mean, come on. That we won't even be able to find a spot to even set up our equipment there.
Well, we'll find a spot there, at least, and thankfully Will Gray and, again, Barry Ward, who is at least, again, 80 at Burns, will take care of us as he has done. Both of them have done when, we covered them last year, especially when they were both hosting regional tournaments out here in southeast Wyoming. So, again, looking forward to those inter-county battles. Again, Battle of Laramie County between Burns and Pine Bluffs, which, again, I think the next one coming up in about a couple weekends from now. So, looking forward to that.
And it's nice they're both in 2A now, too.
Yeah, so, again, it's something that, again, they can battle. It's going to be an interesting fight moving forward. So, again, we'll see the Burns Lady Broncs, Burns Broncs, Pine Bluffs Hornets, the Lady Hornets as well, too, throughout the season. Best of luck to them as, again, we'll get them covered as we do all of our county teams, including the 3 here in the city of Cheyenne. Give them at least opportunity to at least get that broadcast, again, on the audio side and video stream as we do here on 1480 K-Ray. But moving away from Class 2A, before we get into Coach Eric Westling to end out the show, again, we do want to mention, as we haven't yet, Saturday's action, a part of our James Johnson Winter Classic. Cheyenne Central taking on Rock Springs, Lady Tigers and Tigers. Very quickly, Lady Indians.
Free throw shooting absolutely horrid.
Let's be honest, free throw shooting for any team this weekend was not that great. Again, that is from south to east to central, boys and girls. Again, free throw shooting, again, it's something that I made note of, and something that we had when we had Dwayne Salisbury in, head coach of LCCC. He basically said, hey, free throw shooting to the youth right now is not all that popular. That, again, in practice, it's not the main focus.
35 to 40% from 15 feet away, not good. You can't do, you're not. It's going to come back and bite you, Nick. When you get that many opportunities like the Lady Indians had on Saturday to toe the mark and come up basically empty.
Yeah, you can't afford that against Cheyenne Central, or at least against Cheyenne East, if you are the Lady Indians. That, again, free throws are going to matter big time in those contests to upset potentially a Cheyenne East team or, again, whoever it's in the Eastern Conference, without a doubt. But for Cheyenne Central, either way, though, on the Lady Indian side, still got it done outside of the free throws. Again, defense, I think the key factor for the Lady Indians is their defense is really good.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's sparked by Mia Garrick. Mia, who, again, is the point for Cheyenne Central. When they slap on that backcourt pressure, she is absolutely phenomenal. I do question at times, though, some of the passing, and we mentioned that during
I was going to say
during the game.
Yeah, the difference between what we saw Central girls, at least down in Greeley, to Saturday's action against Rock Springs. It seemed as if they took a step back from the Christmas break again, where, sloppy passing, which, again, proved to be costly in turnovers, some kind of questionable kind of shot selection as well, too. But, again, as ugly as it may have seemed on that court, again, a win is a win for Coach Kirkbride. Again, the only loss for them as of right now was against at least that, I do believe, that Douglas team.
Yeah. And I do want to also throw in there, too, with Mia Garrick throwing Carson Temple. Holy cow. She is – you want to talk about the total package. There you go. She plays inside. She's almost undersized. She's getting you boards. She scores points. Defensively, she's also in that backcourt, and she's stealing passes and again, dishing out assists. So, again, I really like how she is. I think right now, even in the case of Coach Kirkbride, he's got to get more. He's got to get more, not just minutes, but it has to get a little bit of both, defensively, offensively, from Morgan Kirkbride.
Even, and again, very quickly, as we'll get into boys action before getting into Coach Westling right now, but again, Lady Indians, are they still the second-best team here in the Southeast Quadrant? Yeah, without a doubt. Can they give Cheyenne East a fit in a battle when they meet each other in the Story Gymnasium? Yes, without a doubt. Can they pull off that victory against Cheyenne East? I don't see it. That's going to take not so much a miracle, but it's going to take a lot.
But a good
free throw
bench
shooting included.
But see here again, Ava Kelly coming off the bench, Izzy DeLong coming off. Not Izzy DeLong. Barrett, who did not play, she was injured. But again, he's got a lot of arsenal that comes off the bench, and they are. Wade, who comes off the bench as well too. Names are coming into my head right now. But again, he's got 5 on the floor. He's got 5 that can come off the bench and can be quick, sharp shooters.
Quickly, boys action, again, as we have a few minutes here to talk.
Well, we can talk about it after Coach Westling.
Well, again, we might spend the full 20 minutes with Coach Westling. Again, got a lot to talk with him. Again, a lot of at least history in the making. Again, preview the matchup coming up this Thursday. But boys action, Rock Springs, again, gave them a fit. Same to Cheyenne East. Give credit to the Tigers. Cheyenne Central, again, with Talich being down for possibly the remainder of the season, this team that's going to have to rely pretty heavily on James Brown, who, again, really stepped up in that Greeley tournament, really shined out there. But I think the key factor coming off the bench, where, again, started last season, now coming off the bench, and now a starter again just due to the Talich being down, Jackson Whitworth. Curious to see him develop this season, as now some of that weight's going to be kind of shouldered upon him, as he's going to have to take over that role.
Actually, we saw Wildiger, Zach Wildiger, moving from where he was at a 2, moving to that 4 spot. I thought he really performed well. I think he really stepped up in day 3 of that tournament, where Whitworth was a 1. I mean, he was the point. And you got Shumway as the point. So you got 2 points out there on the floor. They're not going to hurt you handling the basketball. But again, Whitworth wasn't expected to be a scorer. Wildinger at that time, before he moved into,
I think Whitworth now is going to be expected to be a scorer. He's going to have to get
about 10 points every time he steps on the floor,
without a doubt. Where, again, James Brown on the inside, he's going to be solid for you, and he's going to have at least some off nights, but he's going to shoulder a lot of that weight without a doubt. But I think Jackson Whitworth now kind of thrusted into that starting position again, really is going to have to kind of take some sort of control, and is going to have to contribute on the offense without a doubt. You talk about lack of bench for, again, both South and Cheyenne East. Central's same position.
Mason Tafoya, Marcus and Mason Dehoff, again, they're, 6'1", 6 foot. They're going to give you some time on the floor, and they're going to be competitive, and they're going to get you a hoop here and there. But Coach Schaefer right now has some difficulties because, again, Jackson Whitworth was your number 6 guy off the bench for Cheyenne Central. And again, you think with Talich going down at 6'4", you move Wildinger, who's 6'2", you move him to the 4 right now. That throws a lot more onus on Sawyer. That throws a lot more onus on Brown. And these guys have got to realize they don't need all that extra weight on their shoulder right now, even though Talich was their number 2 scorer. I think Wildinger showed us Saturday that this guy is all around. Rebounder, assist man and scorer.
Quickly, again, Cheyenne Central, can they battle with Cheyenne East? Can they pull off victories where, again, we put Thunderbirds as that number one team? And, again, they are, at the time, were the number one team in Class 4A. Can Cheyenne Central pull off victories at Story Gym against Cheyenne East? Yes, I think they can. I think they will battle. That's going to be a fun matchup to see as we go throughout the regular conference season. Cheyenne Central, or at least very quickly recapping this tournament, 5-1 of what we saw, again, covering East, Central, and South. Again, the only loss was Cheyenne South to on the lady side to the Lady Wolves of Green River. But, again, 5-1. Impressive that, again, basketball, as I said, and we alluded as we were getting the James Johnson Winter Classic, basketball pretty damn healthy here in Southeast Wyoming.
Central girls went 2-1, boys went 2-2. Lost to Riverton. That was the first time without Talich, and then they also lost to a very strong Douglas team as well. We are going to take a timeout. Eric Westling will be joining us next, and we'll be wrapping up our program with Coach Westling of Cheyenne East after these words right here in 1480 K-Ray.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. It's your one-stop to shop for these Super Radio buys heard only right here. Jack Daniel's Apple Tennessee Whiskey, 1 liter bottle, $19.99. Modelo Especial, 24-pack, 12-ounce cans, $28.99. And Old New England Eggnog, 1 liter bottle, $13.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader. Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 30 years. With their fine expert doctors, along with their highly trained staff, they will provide top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131.
17 years in the community and still striving to offer you the best value in a new vehicle. AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne. Take a look at the new 2023 Kia Sorento. With the 2023 Kia Sorento, you have a choice of 3 models, 8 different trims, and 4 different all-weather drive modes. Some available features include 281 horsepower, 20-inch wheels, remote start, and climate control. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber at your service all the way.
Since 1966, Cheyenne and Laramie County has depended on and trusted family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company for all your lumber and hardware needs at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Hop into the K-Ray Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 K-Ray, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480kray.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
Weather-wise for today, a high wind warning has been posted through this evening. Mostly sunny. Expected daytime high near 55. Windy conditions. Winds out of the west at 30 to 40. Gusting as high as 65. For tonight, it's going to be increasing clouds with a slight chance of snow developing during the early morning hours. Breezy conditions are low down to 29. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly cloudy, snow likely and breezy. Look for a daytime high near 37. New snow accumulation of less than a half inch possible.
We welcome back on the program Larry Proietti along with Nick Proietti. This is the Pro Show. We welcome to the program as you joined us last week and, of course, was with us during our game time with the Cheyenne East Lady Thunderbirds, Eric Westling, head coach of the Lady Thunderbirds. And Coach, I know a lot is going to be made, and we'll get into that with the Lady Wolverines coming up on Thursday night. We'll be there for that one. Looking forward to that. But I want to get your takeaways from the James Johnson Winter Classic and your Lady Thunderbirds coming out of the Christmas break, and I know when we had you against the Lady Tigers of Rock Springs, and then again with your 2 other games. you have to be just wow. Your team, and that's the word. Your team wows me. Did you kind of get that feeling on the bench as well too?
Yeah, I talked to the kids last night, and we kind of debriefed on the weekend, and what we saw was exactly what you want to see as a coach. But that week and a half we had when we got back from Christmas, we try and give them a little time off, was focusing on what we weren't doing in those first couple preseason games, whether it be rebounding and closing down lanes defensively. And it's what makes these kids special is we practiced it, they took it to heart, and it correlated. I was so impressed with our rebounding increased, loved our defense obviously all weekend, but just really proud of those girls.
Coach, a weekend that again went undefeated, 3-0. You stand right now in the standings, 9-0, again, still perfect. But the thing that has been talked across the entire state, again, all classifications right now, and again, kind of being the media darling, that Cheyenne East tied for the girls' record at 48 straight wins, going for the at least all-time record to upend Douglas's streak that, again, was made last year. But again, 48 wins in a row, Coach. Obviously, you've had time to sit down, think about this, but again, talk about how impressive and just the again, to do this in Class 4A in the state of Wyoming, to pull off 48 straight wins in a row.
Yeah, it was pretty special to share the floor with Douglas, first of all. Coach Hellenball does a heck of a job, and to share that record with them right now is pretty impressive because of their program and their history. But for us, it's just, I think I talked about it a little bit, it's so many kids that do the right thing so much. And their families reinforce that, and our school and our community reinforces that. So that's what it's just an impressive thing, but it's just kind of the culmination of so many people doing the right thing, and that's really cool.
Coach, how do you, again, as we look at Thursday's action, where again, a lot of media coverage is going to be out there. Again, we mentioned that we'll be out there. Again, it's a chance for history, but for your Lady Thunderbirds, again, it's business out there on the court. Again, you got to focus up. You got to go and take on that Riverton team that, again, is going to be gunning to at least kind of make that namesake of at least handing that first loss. But how do you divert for your Lady Thunderbirds away from the attention that's going to be there, the attendance that, again, go out there and just play Lady Thunderbirds basketball as you've done at this point in time?
I think it comes from my staff, and it comes from the kids, and it comes from stepping on the floor tonight, getting in the film room tonight, and just focusing on Riverton. They're hungry kids. They, like you said, alluded to, they're going to want to beat us, and obviously we want to beat them. And so just studying for that next game. I mean, that's always been our approach, and we can't look past them, and we've got to prepare for them. And it started last night, and we're going to do some more film tonight on them and get ready.
A lot of the press, so to speak, for your Lady Thunderbirds goes around Brady as well as Bowdoin. But as I watched on Thursday and looking forward to seeing the Lady Thunderbirds again and calling that game coming up on Thursday, really liked the play of Fonseca, Elisiana, and I also liked the Cassett kid. And the one kid that does stick to my mind, because she's like a pest on the floor, really liked how Izzy DeLong, she does so many different things for you. May not put a lot of points on, in the books, but I'll tell you what, she is all over that floor for you.
She is, and it's just been so fun to watch Izzy have the year she's having so far in regards to. She's worked really hard at this and being at this level, and it means a lot to her, and especially with a kid like that fulfills all the roles we need her to do. It's fun to watch and challenge her to do more. But yeah, all those kids you just mentioned and those kids that we haven't mentioned yet, but they're fun to watch. They're starting to gel. They're starting to figure each other out, and it just gets me excited to see how far we can go.
Also too, and I've talked about this with all the other teams, how important bench is, and you've got a trio of freshmen that come off of the bench for you, and every one of those freshmen are contributors, and big time contributors too. And may I add, Coach? But one thing that I have to ask you: you're a freshman, you're playing at the varsity level. how are these kids so confident when they step on the floor, because they are superstars already?
It takes them. It takes a good family life, and good foundations at home, and it takes for them on the floor. They're very coachable. All three are very coachable kids. I'll throw Ari Booth in there too. We don't talk about her either, but she had a phenomenal couple days here as well. Our other junior that comes off the bench. But it takes the girl next to you, and we've preached that a lot. I think when you've got the Bowdens and Bradys of the world and the Izzies and Alicianas and Taylors that have all gone through this, those girls can lean on them when they need to, and then they can step up for them when they need to as well. So it's been really fun to watch.
So as we, and again, we had this chat on Thursday. You got a chance again to look at more West teams. Did you get to see any other teams that kind of caught your eye that, hey, they're on our radar as well?
Yeah, that's what we love about this tournament is we get to see, I got to see Sheridan a couple times, and not that that's a West team, but I got to see Sheridan a couple times. Just got to see Kelly a little more. It's always good to see a body of work instead of just a snapshot of what a team does, and this tournament allows us to do that. So, Sheridan's feisty. I just kind of solidified what we've talked about before. The East is nasty, and it's once we get going here in a week, it's just going to be a dogfight because every team has the ability to bring it every night.
Coach, as we prepare for Thursday's action, again, 6 o'clock tip-off time, they're live from the Thunderdome. Again, Riverton taking on Cheyenne East, Lady Wolverines. Again, you talk about scouting this team, looking at film. What do we expect out of this Riverton team as we get ready for Thursday's kind of big-time contest?
They're much improved. Coach McIntosh does a really good job with, and I would say the same of, I think Coach Epler at South is doing a really good job of keeping kids moving forward. And so right now Riverton has some longer kids. They've got some athleticism, and they are pretty dangerous at times. And so our job is going to be, they've got a scorer in 21 that we've got to limit, and just do the fundamental things that we need to do as a basketball team to limit their success or let them have any momentum in the game.
Well, Coach, we don't want to take away from our pregame show. I know we'll probably ask some of the same questions during our pregame show, but again, looking forward to Lady T-Birds and the Lady Wolverines of Riverton as we'll get that courtside seat once again. So we will see you Thursday evening in the Thunderdome.
Thanks. Really appreciate you guys and all your coverage and all you do for us. Appreciate it.
All righty. Eric Westling, head coach of the Lady Thunderbirds for Cheyenne East. We are just a couple TikToks away from the top of the hour. Keep it here.
Yeah, we will definitely keep it here again.
Remind people we're back at it again tomorrow, too.
There you go. Again, you're getting it. Either way, though, again, reminding folks as well, too, as we are talking with Coach Westling. Again, at least Lady Thunderbirds and Thunderbirds in action this Thursday night, 6 and 7:30. Tentative tip times for those contests as they will both take on Riverton there live from the Thunderdome. Games that we will have here live, as we have alluded to, 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRay.com on the audio side. Video live streaming as we do on the 1480KRay YouTube channel. Again, appreciate everyone going over there, subscribing, liking our videos, leaving us comments as well, too. Again, we all appreciate that. Again, it is a chance for history. It is a chance to set a record, which, again, was set last year by a Douglas team that, again, almost, or at least was down by 2 points at half against Cheyenne East, part of this James Johnson Winter Classic. But either way, for Cheyenne East, for Coach Westling, for his Lady Thunderbirds, chance at history to win number 49 in a row, which again would be a state mark on the girls basketball side. Let's mention that on the girls side, it is 49. On the boys side, it's 50. So again, still within reach to set an all-time basketball at least record for Cheyenne.
And I'm going to say it right now. They're catching a Riverton Lady Wolverines team that has been struggling through the years, and East really should have no problems coming up on Thursday evening. Sorry, I'm gonna go step out on that big limb right now.
We hope so, to get without jinxing any situation. But again, obviously wish the best of luck to Cheyenne East, and again, hopefully we'll come away with that win, come away with at least that history in the making. Again, coming up this Thursday, 6 o'clock is the tip time. Riverton, Cheyenne East, chance for the East Side Lady Thunderbirds at 49 wins in a row. Again, setting a girls basketball record here in the state of Wyoming. So again, looking forward to that contest. As you mentioned, again, we will have the Pro Show coming up tomorrow as we'll kind of shift focus away from the local side, kind of go more regional, national. As of right now, we will talk with, even though we will have at least local head coach on, at least from Burns, we'll get Curtis Soloff, boys basketball head coach from the Burns Bronx, have him on, talk about his team. That'll be pretty much it of covering all of our high schools, again, for Burns, Pine, East, Central, and South, getting all head coaches on to talk with us. So, again, Curtis Soloff will be joining us tomorrow. We'll move into hockey, and we'll talk American hockey, at least the AHL, with the Colorado Eagles. We'll have play-by-play guy Kevin McGlue on, talk about how the Eagles are doing this season. And, again, we'll get into NFL playoffs. Carlos Correa deal, as it was announced today that he will be at least potentially signing with the Minnesota Twins after, again, signing with the Giants, signing with the Mets. Now we'll see if it works with the Twins. Carlos Correa, again, signed a big contract with them as of now, pending any physical. We'll talk about that, and also through NBA notes. Again, we have not talked a whole lot of NBA. Nuggets right now, probably one of the better teams in the West.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good. At least our Warriors are hanging in there. They have been
in the playoff spot.
Yeah, but they've been going through
Injuries,
the injury bug. Curry's still
he's out. Klay Thompson's out. So again, Warriors struggling right now, but in a decent position with a lot of basketball still left. Nuggets kind of looking like the top dog team, as again they've been for many his seasons. Still can't find that elusive NBA championship. They're gunning for it absolutely.
It's amazing though with the Joker though. I mean, as much as he gets beat up inside, still has a pretty outside touch, and again inside, and doing it all for the Nuggets as always.
Yeah. Again, we'll talk NFL playoffs upcoming. Again, Broncos. We know we're out there in the head coaching position. Chicago Bears getting the number one at least pick overall. So we have a few head coaching firings, which we'll mention. So that's NFL news and notes coming up tomorrow as well too on the program. And then who knows if we'll get in the national championship? Who cares? Again, Georgia won.
Oh, that was absolutely
spanked
awful.
TCU.
Well, I was going to say, too, and I was right on the coaching, who they were going to look at for the Broncos, but I also want to mention, too, DeMar Hamlin walking out of the hospital.
He's gone. Yeah,
I am so impressed with medical technology.
Yeah, again, after suffering cardiac arrest on the field, cardiac arrest on the way to the hospital, again, full on recovery. We're getting he's in critical condition, coming out of it, and he's going to set to make a full recovery. Also, too, if you saw, at least Bills taking on the Patriots, immediate kickoff for return for a touchdown for the Bills. So again, they obviously had him in mind, and again, really solidified that they're playoff bound and eliminating the Patriots out of the playoffs as well too, out of the AFC East. So, but yeah. Again, playoffs are set.
We'll talk about that, but
Kansas City number one, Philly number one seeds. Yeah,
but I was going to mention too in the case of Hamlin, and that also strikes a chord. We talk about first responders. We always say salute the first responders, and again, what got him to the medical facility in Cincinnati. To you first responders, even in our community as well too. I salute you. That's why DeMar Hamlin is walking on his own.
They're going to get the recognition. I think the NFL absolutely will, and again, you'll see outside entities probably give them some big time praises and a lot of kudos, and who knows what other bonuses come from what they did on the field to at least revive and keep alive. Plain and simple, again, keep Hamlin again still with us after what happened to him, which is just unbelievable.
And they're going to tell you, hey, it's our job. That's how they react at times. You guys are guardian angels. That's for
very
sure.
Quickly again, reminding folks again, this show will be replayed as we do with K-Ray Reports Tuesday, Wednesday. Again, all of our shows again, Pro Show, K-Ray Reports again replayed at 4 and 6 o'clock. So tune in if you missed any of our interviews from today. Also too coming up 8 to 10 o'clock as we do Monday through Thursday. Even though Thursday we do have basketball, which happens in this time of the year, but again, it's usually Monday through Thursday. We'll have the Golden Age of Radio again, 8 to 10 p.m. Again, All-Star Western Theater, and also to Meet the Press, old interviews from back in the day. So again, tune in to some unique individuals that were on Meet the Press back then on the old time radio.
And back then when it was actually just news instead of commentary. All right, we are going to wrap things up. And again, do join us tomorrow for day 2 of our Pro Show. So for Nick Proietti, I'm Larry Proietti. And again, enjoy your Tuesday afternoon. You're listening to 1480 K-Radio.